Well, I was asleep out here tonight behind this medical building where they train people to be a nurse or something. They train people to work in hospitals or in urgent cares to America, USA. So I had to put my sleeping bag down, plug the heater up to keep warm. I got to leave these people a couple of dollars for using their electricity. But that light there on the wall, I couldn't stand it. So I had to get away from that light. I had to get that light away from me. So what I've done was this. Let me get over here a second. I'll show you in a minute. It just fell down. So I took this stick here, and the way I block that light, and this is a trick, well, not a trick, but this is how I stop. This is a way I stop the light from blinding me out. I take a stick and I lift the bag up and put it in front of the light, and I kind of get the bag. May have to work a few minutes to do this because I don't have a ladder where I can get up there. That's one bright ass LED light. The thing has to be every bit of 3,000 or 4,000 lumens. I know every bit of it. So I just put it over like that. And the LED lights, they don't get hot. Not that hot. You know, like they're not like a halogen light. Now a halogen light bulb, they get hot. If that were a halogen bulb inside that, you could not put that bag over it. It would melt that bag. In a second, it would destroy a bag. So I'm going to plug this charger up. And this is what I charge the phone with when I don't have no outlet. And, it's like a portable battery that charges the phone. I got to plug it in. You can't see. It will. Now, those lights. Oh, where you at? What the hell? Oh. So now it's charging. And now it's charging. Yeah, it's charging. When the fourth blue light lights up and it stays lit and don't blink like they're doing now, that means it's fully charged. Or close to it. There's my sleeping bag, heater, cardboard. Those sons of bitches over there behind that Ballot Health building over there on Volunteer Parkway in Bristol, Tennessee, they come by and swiped up everything I had, took my welding machine, they took my little 2-cycle engine I had to put on this bike. They took my welding rods. They took that 4-legged canopy frame that I made out of steel tube, and they took it too. They took everything. I didn't, and then the son of a bitches trespassed me from the premises. The son of a bitch police did, not showing any mercy. The Bristol, Tennessee Police Department. You know, I would like for everybody to go to um, the urgent care and shit on a paper plate and throw it in their bushes beside their building where you walk in at. And I'd like for people to just fill their bushes up with shit and give those people at urgent care in Tennessee a nice, fresh fragrance for the summer to keep them on their toes, keep them happy. And there's a bag, there's a light. I could tell you some really terrifying stories that's really true and happened about ghosts that I have encountered while I was homeless, while I've been homeless, and it's very real. If I would have had a camera at the time that I seen them, what I would have taped on the camera, if it would have picked them up, would have been absolutely terrifying. As in, I slept behind a building called Black Wolf Harley Davidson in Bristol, Virginia at Exit 5. And during the daytime, I heard something walking or running across the roof of the building. And I just kept running back and forth. I didn't know it was a bird or a squirrel. I didn't suspect it to be a squirrel. But I went and got off the thing and looked. And I got off the loading dock and I looked over there. And there was nothing. There's nothing on that roof. This ain't the only time this has happened. But I sure heard something on that roof. Now, I'll tell you. But the worst part about it, it was just getting started. The ghost was that haunted the back of the building and of the Harley Davidson place in Bristol, Virginia. Black Wolf Harley Davidson is what it's called. So the last incident I seen is I woke up at about 3 o'clock in the morning when I was sleeping on that dock, and over me floating was a person, like just some person, and it was floating in the air over me. It wasn't really a person. It wasn't really a person. It was a freaky ghost. It was a spirit. But it was, now that I think about it, it was, really chilling to have something floating over you at nighttime, looking at you like that. And there's nothing you can do about it except call on God, as in, evil spirit, get away from me in the name of God Almighty, God Almighty, God Almighty, God Almighty, God Almighty. And you have to say it loud too. You might have to say this more than once to make finally the spirit will get tired of you saying it. I have said that in several haunted places I've been in. Since I've been homeless, I've said, evil spirit, get away from me in the name of God Almighty, 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 God Almighty. I've said it real loud. You gotta say it loud like you mean it. You can't be afraid. And I've actually had the spirits speak back in a terrifying voice. It seemed to be, like stereo sound in both ears of mine, both my ears, and it said, you better not call on that. You better not call on him. I'll get you. I ain't lying, I ain't making this up. They have said that. And they've said it multiple times. The spirits have. They're demons. If you read the Bible talks about them principalities of the air. The Bible calls them principalities of the air, of the principality. The Bible refers to them as fallen angels, principalities of the air. There's I think it might be a few other names: unclean spirit, wicked spirit. In the Middle East, in Afghanistan or Iran, they refer to them as a jinn. They refer to those evil spirits as a jinn. And in some countries, like Ireland, they refer to them as a goblin or leprechaun, or I think a goblin or banshee. Either way, I don't want them near me. And the spirit, as far as what it did, the one on up at Black Wolf Harley Davidson, it tried to haunt me at night. It didn't, if you call on the name of God, you're not going to be afraid. They can't scare you if you call on God. If you say God's name, if you say God, evil spirit, get out of here in the name of God Almighty, God Almighty, God Almighty, God Almighty, God Almighty. You won't be afraid if you say that, but if you don't say it, if you don't call out God's name, you will become absolutely terrified. Maybe to the point of paralysis where you can't even move. That's what these spirits can do. But if you call on God's name, that won't happen. They can't bother you if you call on God's name. If you call out God's name and you just say God, God Almighty, God, God Almighty, you can say God, you can say God Almighty. I say God Almighty, but they don't like that. The spirits have tried to threaten me into not saying that, but I'm not afraid of their threats or them. So the spirit that was trying to haunt me up there on the loading dock of Black Wolf Harley Davidson motorcycle sales building turned into a black shadow and then floated over near the wall and covered the light up like it was a wall. It was a light on the wall, just like that. I covered up with a black bag. And that's what got me talking about this, is when I covered that light up there with that black bag. It reminds me of what that spirit did up there on the loading dock of Black Wolf Harley Davidson that night. It went from looking like a person floating over me to just a black shadow that it floated over to the light, and it covered up the light, and it just went dark. It actually suffocated the light out. And finally it moved away, it disappeared, the spirit did, went on somewhere else. I can't remember if I said, "Depart from me in the name of God Almighty" that night or not. I may have said it, but I can't remember. But I know if I would have said it, the spirit would have went away pretty quick. The louder you say it, the better. That's what these wicked spirits do. You're not alone in this world. Don't never think you are. You're being watched all the time, and by these things, these entities, these wicked spirits, and they'll get far away from you sometimes and watch you, or they'll get up closer. It just depends on how close you are to God. The closer you are to God, I think that kind of, from what I've experienced, the closer you are to God, the closer God is to you, the farther the evil spirits stay away from you, because they can't interact with God. They can't go to where God's at, and so if you call on God, He'll come. Call out His name, get Him on your mind, get Him in your thoughts, and keep Him there. These spirits, they can't beat God. They can't overthrow Him. They can't overdo Him. They have no resistance whatsoever when it comes to God. They can't resist what he tells them to do, and they can't resist his presence. They have to go away when God comes. But God is a gentleman. God only comes to where he is invited to. You invite God into where you're at by your actions and by what you say. If you're taking care of your body and you don't take drugs and you don't drink, you're inviting God to get closer to you that way. If you do those things. And then if you fellowship with other people that believe in God, and you become connected with them, and you associate with people that believe in God too, like you, then that keeps the evil spirits, that tortures them. They have to stay very far away from you then, because Jesus said in the Bible, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am. The more the merrier, the more the better. The more people that believe in God that gather in his name, the better. God comes very close to a crowd of people that's gathered in his name. You notice where in the Bible, when Jesus went and did miracles, healed the sick, raised the dead, Jesus always had his disciples with him. And all of his disciples believed in God, and they knew God. So there was all of Jesus' disciples were there. And God was present among them, and Jesus too. Whenever Jesus told a dead person to get up, they got up. I'll tell you, man, that's awesome. That's something no human could ever possibly do on their own. Among other miracles, I talk about God frequently, and you should. No one should ever be ashamed to talk about God. God is the salvation. God is your salvation. God is your fortress. God is your shelter. God is the one who makes it happen. God is the one who brings you to success. God is the one that makes things right that went wrong.